For many, going pro in a video game is their career of choice, and Fortnite is no different. And one of the most important aspects of making a career out of gaming are the organizations behind it. Organizations provide players with consistent salaries and opportunities for growth that allow their careers to be sustainable. And for the most part, this is how all esports are run, apart from Fortnite. Due to a variety of factors, organizations don't have the best reputation in the Fortnite scene, from taking advantage of young players to outright stealing six-figure numbers from players. This is Fortnite's org problem and what could be done to possibly remedy it. To start, why do orgs have such a poor reputation in Fortnite? To answer this, we need to go back to the start of Fortnite competitive. In the early days when the competitive scene first began being established, many of the largest esports orgs in the world wanted in. Teams such as FaZe, NRG, and TSM would sign full squads of players, with the expectation these players would all play together and represent their org. However, this would not play out in practice. While the first couple of major tournaments held in Fortnite were invite only, invites weren't tied to orgs. Rather, invites were determined either by your presence as a player or your previous performances in Epic hosted tournaments. Though at this point, Fortnite was still at its mainstream peak, so orgs stayed in Fortnite. However, as modern day competitive Fortnite began to be shaped in early 2019, signs of the future would begin to show. Tournaments were now made to be open to all Fortnite players above the age of 13, regardless of org allegiance or name recognition. While this was amazing for creating careers out of unknown players, this was really bad for orgs. Epic had no need for orgs, as their open tournaments handled all the qualifications for their major tournaments. In addition to this, Fortnite as a game experiences major changes way more often than other traditional competitive games. Team swapping, map changes, meta changes, nothing is ever consistent. This resulted in there being absolutely zero support for organizations. No subsidies, no collaborative skins as seen in other games like Overwatch and Rocket League, and no competitive formats that facilitated allegiance to orgs. This meant that maintaining a competitive roster of Fortnite players was extremely risky and would often lead to huge monetary losses for orgs. To counteract this, orgs would keep signings to a minimum or just pull out of Fortnite altogether, and this behavior is what would lead to the downfall of Fortnite orgs and its subsequent effect on players. So how does this affect the players? Well, due to the scarcity of orgs in Fortnite and the average age of a competitive Fortnite player being much lower than that of a typical esports pro, players are often taken advantage of. Time and time again in Fortnite's history have there been scandals about the predatory contracts players sign. There are of course widely known examples like Tfu's infamous 80% contract, but that only scratches the surface of predatory contracts. Metro and Team Atlantis, Edgy and FlyQuest, Jerky and Team Wave, all examples of orgs giving less than desirable contracts to pros. Now in defense of the orgs, the players are the ones that sign these contracts at the end of the day. But reading through the details of some of these contracts, it is clear that these contracts are given out to these players because they are young and desperate. Things like this simply don't happen in other esports with more mature player bases. And unfortunately, this has attracted some unsatisfactory figures onto the scene, most recently GXR and Monaco. It has come out that players from both of these teams such as Queasy, Vino, Malabuka, and even Mama Benji Fishy are still owed payments to this day. And this is nothing new, with Chinese org Newbie reportedly stealing $100,000 of earnings from their two World Cup qualified players in 2019, or OCE org Notorious reportedly not paying the salaries of their players such as Slaya and Speedy in 2020. And then there's a whole Team 33 rabbit hole, an org whose owner just up and left after his crypto investment company blew up, leaving over 30 signed individuals in the ditch. I would recommend Resub's video on it if you want to learn more about it. Because most of these players who are victims of these predatory orgs are often young, not even legally adults, they believe the promises of payouts that these orgs make to them. So how does this affect Fortnite esports? Well, while I don't have any hard proof, I feel like all of these scams, lies, deception coming from the various orgs in Fortnite over the years has left a bad taste in Epic's mouth. To this day, Epic has never directly supported orgs. No skins, no money, no promotion, nothing. This creates a domino effect where reputable orgs can't sustain a Fortnite roster, they leave, and then the pro players can't find good teams to sign to, meaning no salary or sponsorship opportunities that could make their careers sustainable. This also gives a bad name to many orgs out there that do nothing but good for their players, such as Team Agent, Dignitas, and Xset, further demotivating those with good intentions from entering the Fortnite scene. So what could be done about this problem? Well, the root of this problem ultimately comes down to Epic not facilitating an esports friendly environment. While it would be correct to say that organizations in Fortnite could show greater responsibility with handling players, this still all goes back to Epic. If Epic just facilitated org participation from the get-go, then Fortnite would be a much more stable esport today. Fortunately, this problem has actually been somewhat alleviated with the new 4v4 style tournaments that ESL and the Esports World Cup are hosting for Fortnite. These tournaments have a heavy focus on the teams, with locked rosters of 4 players competing against each other in a variety of game modes with consistent formats. This solves the inconsistency problem of Fortnite competitive, as now orgs know for sure what to expect and exactly what resources they should invest into Fortnite. In just a few months, we have seen a mini resurgence of orgs in Fortnite, with big names such as Fnatic, NIP, and T1 all making returns to Fortnite. Seeing the success of this style of tournaments so far, I think Epic should host more LANs. Of course, FNCS Global should remain the premier LAN of the year, but I think a smaller LAN played like ESL would really help facilitate org participation in Fortnite. Even if Epic doesn't want to invest the extra dollars into additional LANs, I'm sure they could easily generate a sizable prize pool for them by making and selling collaborative org skins in the item shop. Players for years now have been begging for this, and I'm sure Epic could generate millions in revenue from doing so. Doing this would be a step in the right direction for Fortnite. Orgs would be happy to return and sign players. Reliable salaries from reputable orgs will be easier to acquire for the players, and most importantly, more tournaments for the viewers. Now, this doesn't completely absolve orgs from responsibility though. Orgs and game companies need to have a mutual relationship. Fortnite orgs need to provide for the game as well. As it stands now, orgs aren't providing too much. Very few orgs require players to stream or make content. But this is risky for orgs, which is the unfortunate state of deadlock that Epic and orgs exist in. As defined by Yale, deadlock is when 2 or more tasks never make progress because each is waiting for some resource held by the other process. Unfortunately, both orgs and Epic are in a predicament where in order to facilitate each other, one of them needs to make the first move, but if the other party doesn't reciprocate, then the person who made the move loses out big time. So to conclude, this is an issue that can only be fixed by coming together to support each other, which only time will tell if that happens. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, then like, subscribe, follow all my socials, and check out this video on the worst update in Fortnite history.